So these right here are all the fights that need to be made next after UFC Fight Night Qatar. Starting off with the main event winner, that is Arman Tsarukyan. He submitted Dan Hooker really easy in their matchup. It's Ilia Topuria. Arman Tsarukyan made the call out. This is the fight to make. Arman is ranked number 1. He is the number 1 contender. His big issue was that he was so inactive, and obviously the UFC 311 issue. But now that he's sorted that out, he's got to win now over someone ranked inside of the top 10. Dominated Dan Hooker, Ilia Topuria, Arman, UFC 324, make it happen. I know you had Pimblin and Gaethje, a possible opponent for Ilia Topuria. Arman is the number 1 contender. He took no damage. He made the call out. He said he's going to be ready. Capitalise on this moment. Ilia, Arman, make it happen. Moving on to the main event loser in Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker got destroyed by Arman Tsarukyan. What's next for Dan Hooker? He did call out Moicano. That's not the fight I've went for. I went for Benoit Saint-Denis. This right here is just a fun fight overall. Dan Hooker, really fun striker. Does have good takedown defense. Obviously, you didn't see that in last night's fight, but Arman Tsarukyan is one of the best grapplers right now in the UFC. Benoit Saint-Denis carries power, tough and durable, game fighter, walks forward, heavy pressure, can grapple. I just think Dan Hooker, Benoit Saint-Denis is an absolute war. This fight's a war. Make it happen. Moving on to the co-main event, we've got the winner in Ian Gary. Ian Gary beat Belal Muhammad. Ian Gary, when you look at his resume in the welterweight division, beat Belal, beat Carlos Prates, beat Jeff Neal, beat Neil Magny, beat Daniel Rodriguez. Obviously, he did lose to Shavkat. On a full camp, I think Ian Gary beat Shavkat, by the way. That's just my opinion. Ian Gary made the call out. We know what's next. It's Islam Makhachev. You got the Khabib Conor aspect there. Dagestan versus Ireland too. You've also got the Oliveira aspect. Oliveira fought Islam. Lost, obviously. Ian Gary trains with Oliveira's team. There's that aspect to it. I know you've got Michael Morales is one of the fighters that also could arguably deserve to fight for the title, but Ian Gary's just done a lot more, in my opinion. Yes, Michael Morales got the finish over Sean Brady very dominantly in the first round. Great win. I just feel like Ian Gary has done more in the welterweight division. Outside of beating Sean Brady, his best win is a washed up Gilbert Burns. So I think Ian Gary, Islam Makhachev is the fight to make. Belal Muhammad lost to Ian Gary. Belal Muhammad, I still think he's got a lot left to give. He is 37. Don't think he'll ever be champion again. Him versus Usman. Why the fuck has this fight not already been made? Usman is not fighting for the title. I have more of an argument for fighting for the title than Kamaru Usman does right now. You don't deserve to fight for the title at all. Do Usman versus Belal Muhammad. I don't know how long Belal's looking to take off. Usman isn't active at all. They're similar in age. They have the bad blood, the background with the podcast and stuff. I think you make this fight. It makes a lot of sense. They're big names. They will sell the fight, especially if it's like a 5-round co-main on a card. They will get at each other. They will sell the fight. Usman Belal, now is the time to make that matchup. Moving on, we have got Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan Oezdemir got a really good KO win over Alonzo Menifield. Volkan Oezdemir, though, wouldn't be the most active guy. Jamal Hill is out. He says he is going to be recovering from an injury, but I think that's the fight to make next. Let's give Volkan Oezdemir a jump up in the rankings. A fight we haven't seen before. Jamal Hill, obviously, is coming off a lot of losses. Pereira, Yuri, Khalil Roundtree. I think you do him versus Volkan Oezdemir. Two big punchers. I think this is the fight to make next. Moving on, we have got Waldo Cortez Acosta, the Giga Chad of the heavyweight division. Knocks out Shamil Gaziev on a crazy run right now. What I think should be next for Waldo Cortez Acosta is Derek Lewis. Now, he said he wanted to fight again this year. That's not going to happen in my opinion. Just don't see it. But I think like one of the earlier fight nights of the year, whether it be in an arena or not, Derek Lewis, they always have him as a fight night main event. I think him versus Waldo Cortez Acosta is a really fun matchup, a fight that makes sense. Waldo Cortez Acosta, honestly, is like one of the... Waldo Cortez Acosta is one fight away from fighting for the belt, in my opinion. That's where he's at. I think he is one fight away from fighting for the UFC heavyweight title. Him, Derek Lewis, Fight Night main event. Moving on, we have got Horiguchi, got the win over Takeru Lembekov. Let's do him versus Asiyama Bayev. I thought that wasn't going to work there. Asiyama Bayev got the win over Alex Perez. They're going to be close in rankings. Horiguchi, get him in there with Asiyama Bayev. Let's get that fight made. Both guys, very similar schedule. Both guys fought on the same card, obviously. Both guys got finishes on that card. Didn't take a lot of damage. Let's get this fight booked. Moving on, we have got Alexandre Topuria beat Beksat Almakhan. That's a good win. Beksat is definitely not an easy opponent. What, did he look good in that fight? Yes, he is early in his career. He's 7-1. He is 29 years of age, though. He isn't as good as Ilya. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. But what I think should be next for Topuria, let's do him versus Cody Garbrandt. Why not? Cody Garbrandt. What's there to say about Cody Garbrandt? Lost to Barcelos in his last matchup. I think you do him versus Topuria. The names, it'll stand out. It could be like a prelim headliner on a card. Big fight, Topuria versus Cody Garbrandt. Topuria did call out Umar Nurmagomedov. He's miles away from that fight. I don't even think Topuria will ever even get into the top 10 of the bantamweight division. I do think, though, he'll beat Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt, just, a fart can knock this guy out at this point. I think that's the fight to make. Topuria, Garbrandt, big fight. Moving on, Luke Riley. Luke Riley made his UFC debut against Bogdan Grad. Got that nasty left hook KO. What I think should be next for Luke Riley, who is undefeated, I think you do him versus Andre Fili. Andre Fili, veteran of the UFC's featherweight division, has been around for a very long time. He also is pretty well rounded. He can grapple. I would like to see Luke Riley in there with a couple more decent level grapplers, so he keeps improving on it, keeps working on it. There's no point seeing him in there with a low level striker that he's just going to piece up. Let's see him in there work on his grappling, because it will help him in the long run. I think he smokes Andre Fili, to be honest, but there is that grappling threat that Andre Fili does offer up. But I think Luke Riley, too quick, too precise, too powerful on the feet. UFC Fight Night London, if it is in March, that's where I think you see this fight. Could be on the prelims, depends how stacked the card is. Might even open up the main card. And finally, we have got Shamrock. Lost his UFC debut to Aliyev. Tough matchup. That's a hard debut to get. Aliyev is undefeated. I think he is a very good prospect. What I think should be next for Shamrock is let's do him versus Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell is coming off that loss to Tom Nolan at UFC Fight Night Ulber versus Reyes, but he does have a UFC win over Trevor Peek and Alex Reyes. I think that's the fight to make next for Shamrock. So those are the fights that I want to see being made next after UFC Fight Night Qatar. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all again in the next one.